Hi, I'm Teresa from Phoenix Gate Crafts, and this is part 2 of the 2024 Textured Sampler Crochet Along. So for those of you who haven't been following along, this is not the video to start with because, well, you need to know what stuff to get. That's its own video, and then there's a part 1 that will get you this pretty thing right here. You should really watch those first. They're linked in the description box down below, but if you're right here along with me, you're in the perfect place because we're doing part 2. So part 1 we really didn't get to fiddle around with, but part 2 is perfectly adjustable. I will tell you which round type to end off with before you do the final round, and that will leave you in the perfect position for the section after that. So if you're ready, let's get started. All right, got an end. I cut out several minutes there because I was just struggling with it. So I always like to start with a loop whenever I go back on. If you're doing this all in one color, on the last video, which I didn't mention, so sorry about this, you could have ended with your half double crochet corner and you'd be ready for this one. But if you're changing colors like I am, you can just create a slip knot. Whoops, don't lose the slip knot. And then you chain 1, and then you can do your standing double crochet from here. So the standing double crochet, just a quick reminder, is, let's scooch over here, is you scooch up, you go around, you go under to pull a loop, go through one and under one, and then you go through 2. And you will need 2 double crochets in that corner, whatever you decide to do for your starting one. But at this point, you really can't work over your tail anymore because now we're just doing a whole bunch of back post double crochets. And I haven't figured out a way to do this invisibly. So it's just go around the stitch from the back, pull up a loop, and then finish normally. We're going to do this at the beginning of every section. Whoop, whoop. Because this just creates this nice line. You can see it's pushing the row before it kind of to bend forward like this, which creates a little bit of stability in each section, I find, just because it's not going through these loops that are at the top. It's actually going around the core of the stitch. And just a real quick note, you do want to set it through this hole. You don't stick it through this top part of the stitch. You stick it underneath the entire and go around the entire post. So if you look at it from the front, the post is back here, and then you just pull it through. I find that creates a little bit more stability and structure from this bend here. It also creates a nice line between colors or between sections that just kind of makes the whole thing make more sense. Whoops. And it is possible to lose your loop if you're not careful. And if you want to see one real quick that's slow, you go around like you normally would start a double crochet, then you go forward and around, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. It's a little awkward at first. It really does help to have everything kind of on a table, like I've got this one here. It can be a little funky because you kind of have to pull forward. If you pull back, you'll accidentally kind of yank on this middle loop. I promise by the end of this project you will be a back post double crochet ninja. Because every section's gonna have more of it. Just because as this thing grows, there's gonna be more stitches per side every single time. And see how that is just straightening that up kind of as we speak. It also creates the illusion that these, whatever your pattern is right under the edge instead of having that extra little row. And it also kind of hides the bottom half of this row, so it looks like we're starting whatever the next stitch pattern is kind of right up against it. When we're not, we're getting a little bit of cushion. There's a function of stitches in most patterns, and using texture just kind of not only makes it look kind of cool, it actually can have a functional system to it. All right, and now we're at the very end of the row. We go around that last post. And now we're going to do, in the corner, 2 regular double crochets, chain 2, and then 2 regular double crochets. Now, it is possible to go into a chain, like the back little hump on a chain, and that could potentially keep this kind of going around that corner right there, this little front chain. However, what I found happen more is that the back little hump winds up overstretching. That actually winds up being less of a structural support. So you can do that. It just doesn't always look good when this project winds up getting some weight on it. And now, as you can see, you have a line right there. So we're going to basically do the same thing again, back post double crochet in every single stitch. And then when you get to the corner, 2 regular double crochets, chain 2, and then 2 more regular double crochets. I will meet you at the beginning. All right. Now it's looking kind of like that. And it doesn't help that my background is curved. Poster board, gotta love it. Anyway. So, friendly reminder on how we finish off corners is we do a half double crochet corner, which is just start off like you're doing a half double crochet, but go into the top of the first stitch in the round, and then complete a half double crochet, creates a perfect corner, and you are smack in the middle of the corner. Now, before we do anything else, we have to have like the setup row to the pattern. And the setup row to the pattern is a bobble row. Now, this pattern is comprised of front post bobbles, which sounds complicated and horrible, but actually isn't once you kind of know what the heck a bobble is. So we have to start it anyway with just regular bobbles. So do our standing double crochet. And now we're going to do our first bobble, smack in the corner. So basically, to do it, you yarn over once, then you go and pick up a loop and pull that loop up to the height of your double crochet stitches. Then you yarn over and you pick up a loop, and then you yarn over and pick up the last loop. Basically, yarn over, pick up a loop 3 times. You're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stitches, then you yarn over, pull through, and this one does require a chain to hold everything together. This chain is what you wind up going through if you ever have to go through a stitch on top of a bobble. This right here is the first stitch over here. Anyway, now we're going to do 1, 2, 3 double crochets, and then we're going to do another bobble in this stitch. So yarn over, pull up 1, yarn over, pull up 2, yarn over, pull up 3, pull through all 7 stitches and chain 1. And then we do 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and now another bobble. 1, 2, 3. That's yarn over, pull up a loop 3 times. And don't forget to chain at the top. And now you see how this goes. We go all the way across. 2, 3 double crochets, and then yarn over, pull up a loop, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all loops, and chain 1. And we're going to do that all the way across. 1, 2, 3, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through, chain 1. They really don't take very long. We'll go through this one more time. 3 double crochets, and then yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through, chain 1. And normal bobbles are not the most noticeable. What we're going to do next is really going to bring them out on the next round, so don't worry about that. But I want you to continue with 3 double crochets and a bobble to the end. So I have made it to 3 stitches from the end. I just did a bobble. So now we're going to do basically the reverse of we did at the beginning to get to the corner. So we're going to do 3 double crochets, and then into the corner it's going to be a bobble. 1, 2, 3, pull through, chain 1 double crochet, chain 2, 1 double crochet, and then 1 bobble. 1, 2, 3. Always remember that single crochet, and now we're around the corner. So you're going to do that same thing of 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and then a bobble. 1, 2, 3, pull through, chain all the way across. You're going to end with 3 double crochets and then bobble, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, bobble in the other corner. All right, so I'll meet you back at the other end where we started. In that last corner, I have my last bobble, my last single crochet, And then this part can be a little tricky, figuring out where you're supposed to go. See these kind of funky loops? They got a little pulled with the bobble. But we're going to do our half double crochet. You have to kind of turn it. But you see, you can kind of see that top loop. You can get one from the front and one from the back. Or if you don't care, you just kind of pull wherever. But there you go. And there. This next one, however, we're going to start our repeat. So I like to do standing double crochets. And then 2. So 2 double crochet. Then you want to do a double crochet and double crochet. And that's basically the whole thing with the double crochets. All the way across, double crochet where you see a double crochet, and do a front post bobble where you see a front post bobble, or in this case where you see a regular bobble. So to do a front post bobble is not the craziest thing you've ever done, I promise. So you're going to loop like you're going to start a regular bobble, and you do a front post, so you go around it from the front to the back to the front. So you grab up the bobble. Then you pull up a loop. Then you yarn over. Then you go under the bobble again. Pull up a loop. Yarn over. And pull up another loop. Yarn over, pull through, and there you have a front post bobble. Oh, and don't forget to chain 1. And now we do 3 double crochets because we have 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and now we're going to front post bobble again. So yarn over, find your bobble, go down and behind and out the other side of your bobble. Now this is all the way behind, like the whole entire bobble is going and getting pushed forward. Pull up your loop, yarn over, go behind and pull up your loop. Yarn over, go behind and pull up your loop. Yarn over, pull through all 7, and chain 1. There we go. This is one of those things that really starts to look good after you've got a few going. And then 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. This is a pattern that can eat up yarn. It doesn't eat up as much as the popcorns because you're just drawing up 3 sets of loops, not doing 5 full double crochets and then doing 2 of them for every one of these. So, but again, we do yarn over, go from the front to the back to the front, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop. So we have 3 yarn overs and pull up loops. Pull through, chain 1, then 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and then another bobble. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, and yarn over, pull through all 7, chain 1. I'll do one last set with you. 1, 2, 3, and then yarn over, go behind, pull up a loop, yarn over, go behind, pull up a loop, yarn over, go behind, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all the loops, chain 1, and continue across. I'll see you when we get to the corner. All right, I'm right at the end. I did the last front post bobble. I did the last double crochet. Be careful with that last bobble because it's easy to pick up that last double crochet by accident. And now we're going to do 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. For the corner, then just to get you back into it, we're going to do this double crochet and then this front post bobble, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 7, chain 1, and from here it is 3 double crochets, front post bobble, all the way across to the end where you do the front post bobble, double crochet, then 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets in the corner. So I will meet you at the very end, but in the last corner, half double crochet corner to close. I'll see you after that. All right, so we finished the round. Half double crochet to corner, like we always do at this point. And then I want you to see how we're finally getting that kind of going around it look, where it goes around the previous one. So this round we just completed is round 1 of our 2 round repeat. So I'm going to really quickly teach you round 2, and then I'm going to tell you how many 1 and 2 round repeats you need to do for this pattern if you're following along with my sizing. And then I'll also tell you how to change it up so that you can make your own proper size as you choose. Or if you just want to do this one the entire time, that's totally cool too. So we're going to do a standing double crochet. And this is going to be an awful lot like that first round we did, but not exactly. But we are going to have to do a regular bobble in the corner. 1, 2, 3, and pull through, chain 1. All right, and then it's just like what we were doing previously. The only thing that changes from one round to the other is the corner. On round 1, we do 2 double crochet, and then 1 double crochet in a stitch, and then our first front post bobble. On round 2, we're going to do 1 double crochet, regular bobble, and then we're going to get into our regular pattern of 3 double crochet, front post bobble until the other corner. So I'll just do a couple of those with you so we can feel confident. 1, 2, 3, and front post bobble. All right, so you do that all the way down, and just like this very first pattern row, the setup round, you're going to go do your 3 double crochets, and then you're going to do a regular bobble and a double crochet in this one. I'll meet you down at the end to show you that, and then I'm going to tell you about the patterning. All right, I have almost completed round 2 of the repeat, and we're just going to do the last 3 stitches of this side. And then we're going to do a bobble. 1, 2, 3. Remembering to hold it up to double crochet height. Chain 1, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, and then, whoops, almost did a second double crochet. Don't do that. We're doing a bobble. 1, 2, 3. Pull it through, chain 1, and then we'll do 3 double crochets. But you go all the way around and in a half double shake. But then what we do is we go all the way around and end with a half double crochet corner instead of that chain 2. And now we have our repeats. So we'll want to do row 1, row 2, and then row 1 again for a total of 6 bobbles. So we've got 1, 2, 3 already. Then we're going to have row 1, row 2, row 1, because we need to end on a row 1. So I'll meet you back here when you have 6 rows of bobbles. And I will meet you back because we will have one final round after that. All right, so welcome back. But here's what happened. I am running low on yarn. In my defense, the very first iteration of this I did in DK weight yarn, which had quite a bit more yardage per 100 grams. So I don't have enough to do the final round and 1 or 2 extra rounds. So what I did was I left it off at 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds. So basically I redid the first repeat round. And that's where I'm ending off. I did edit the written pattern to reflect this because I feel that it's important that the written pattern have reasonable expectations for what 100 grams of yarn can do. I am still not 100% certain I have enough yarn to get all the way around one more time. So I am letting you know now that if you are coming to an edge where you are running low on yarn and don't want to do the last little bit in a different color, like I don't want to, this next round, which is the same as the final round in the previous section, instead of doing double crochets, you are perfectly welcome to do half double crochets. If you still don't have enough yarn, you can even do single crochets. It will make the next section a little bit more difficult doing those back post double crochets if you're doing single crochets, but it can be done. It is entirely up to you and how brave you feel and how up to it you are. I am going to at least do this first side so you can see what we're supposed to do in double crochets, and then I'll see how far around I can get. But when I come back at the very end, I may very well have half double crochets. And you know what? This is a joy of the adjustability. But regardless, you should end on a round that has the 3 double crochets at the very beginning, the 2 double crochets in the corner and the single crochet. That is a good one to end off on. If you choose to do more, you just repeat these past 2 rounds, round 1 and round 2, of the repeat pattern until you have this at the edge and you have just enough to get around one more time. And if you want to make this smaller, you don't have to do these last 2 rounds. You could just do the first bobble round and the first pattern round and you are fine. Heck, if you don't want to, you don't even have to do this section. But I do rather like it. It has a nice soft texture and it looks pretty neat. So start off with a standing double crochet and another regular double crochet. And we're doing something a little different on this one because we're having some space issues with some of these bobbles. But to start off, we're going to go ahead and do 1, 2, 3 double crochets. And then, as you can see, we've got the actual stitch that comes out of a bobble, and then we have the chain 1 that comes out the top. I did some experimentation, and going into either one of these leaves a bit of a funky gap. So we need to close that gap. So we're going to do a double crochet 2 together in both the regular stitch and the chain 1. Just to kind of pull these together and to fill in empty spaces. So it looks like we have a solid thing. But remember, double crochet 2 together is 1 stitch because we actually have 1 stitch right here at the top. But then we just continue on like normal. 1, 2, 3 double crochets, and then a double crochet 2 together with the first leg going into the bobble stitch and 1 going into the chain. And then 1, 2, 3, and then double crochet 2 together. Ta-da! And as you can see, this is fixing a lot of the old puckering issues we've been having so far. There might still be a little bit going on, but as you can see, a lot of it is just kind of getting fixed because we're closing up some of the open spaces and we're just kind of fixing the stitch count. So what I want you to do is I want you to do this all the way across, and I'll meet you at the corner, though I'm pretty sure you know how to do the corner already. And by the way, just to show you how to do a half double crochet 2 together, you start your half double crochet, you pull up 1, and then you pull up the next one, and then go through all of them. All right, I'm at the end. 1, 2, 3. Here we go for the corner. 2, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. Then we're going to do the same thing down the next side. I will see you at the very end to tell you what I wound up having to do for the last round. Alright, I'm back and I had to do half double crochets. But guys, oh my god, I won Yarn Chicken. This is why in the first video I did a voiceover that said some sections really should have 150 grams of yarn just to be on the safe side. This is one of those sections. So, just like last time, we're going to chain 2 in the final corner and pull it through. Then we're going to pick up darning needle. I like the bent tip kind, but any kind you like will work. And load her up. Then this style ending works particularly well with chain beginnings because it actually, by picking up the front and the back loop, you make it look like an actual stitch, and then going into that loop that you just yanked the yarn out of and going through it and pulling, and then going through that beginning double crochet, it makes the chain 2 look like a bona fide stitch. See, this one right here is exactly where that loop we just made is, and because we went back into the chain, it even has what looks like comes out from the other. And then just weave in your end in a few different directions. Oops. And then snip. And at this point, I like to weave in the other one. I know a lot of people don't like to weave in ends. You certainly don't have to, but here's my thing. If I save it all to the end, I really don't want to do it because now I have 12 ends to weave in and it's become a big job. I do it right now and it's 2 ends. And because I started with a slip knot, I don't need to weave in too much. Just like 2 directions is fine, just enough to prevent it from like slipping. And then cut that teeny tiny little tail off. And it is now part 2 complete. So I hope you found this interesting. Join me next week for part 3. And remember to like, share, subscribe to get more notifications. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments or to join the Facebook group, Phoenix Gate Crafts group. And I have links to the patterns in the description. So, thank you guys. Happy crafting. Bye.